Hey everybody, welcome to Marc's Miniature Monday. I'm James, and this, thankfully, is Marc.
Hello.
Yeah, so that means we can talk about some of your new figures that you've painted for the magazine.
We can. I'm actually genuinely excited to talk about these. They were, all three of them were really, really quite, I'd say challenging and enjoyable at the same time. Yeah. Which is the best kind of way to be painted, if it's something which pushes you as an artist. Yeah.
So yeah, what we've got here, this is the Giants in Miniature that we're releasing next, which is Dante, of Dante's Inferno. And Marc has painted this up for the magazine with a guide, so that will be in issue 406, I believe.
I believe so, yeah.
And then following suit, we've got some flamey effects on these ones as well. These are for an article for a bit later on. Or is it in the next issue? I get so lost in what's in what issue.
I think it's 406.
I think it is 406.
It's 406.
Yeah, so they're in the same issue.
406, definitely 406.
406, the theme is fire. It's not actually fire, but let's pretend it is for the sake of this.
It seems to have been an accidental theme.
Yep. So you've painted some gripping beast models here from the Order Militant, but you've converted them for our Fall of the Templars article, which is another cool article.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's take a closer look and quiz you about your approaches.
So we're going to go with Dante first?
I think we should.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so first up we have Dante, and this is the new Giants in Miniature that will be coming out a little bit later. It'll be up for pre-order. The figure itself is like that bit, and then
it's just the
this
mount.
bit's yours, right?
Yeah. Yes, very much so.
And the reason for that was the Inferno.
The Inferno, we really wanted him to make it appear as if he was walking through the poem. If anyone's ever listened, read, so it's the Inferno part of the what's the Divine Comedy?
Yes.
It's
you should know that, you've actually read it.
I actually have. It is a while ago, and I really wanted to as if it was representing one of the cantos where he was going through the river of fire and blood. And I'm hoping that I've managed to achieve that.
Well, I think there's certainly fire. Not sure about the blood.
Yeah,
maybe the blood's evaporated.
The blood has probably evaporated, and but this feels more like it represents our notion of what hell is.
Yes.
As opposed to the in the poem itself, which is slightly different to what the kind of contemporary understanding of hell.
Right.
And so it was a hybrid between our contemporary understanding and what Dante's feelings and thoughts were about how hell would appear to be.
Right. We've switched to Marc's Literature Monday. This is quite
we
good.
Are Marc's, yeah.
Should we talk about what we're reading at the moment?
I'm reading trash at the moment, so no, we're not going to do that.
Nothing wrong with a bit of trash every now and again. So we won't get into too much detail on this because we do have a guide in the magazine for how you've done everything.
Everything.
Some of that is also going to be on the website for the basics of painting the rider and the horse. Yeah. But yeah, it's a very cool effect. You sculpted all these flames. You actually built some of the base as well up.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just thought we'd have a quick peek at that one as a little teaser for what's to come in the next issue.
For anyone that is interested, the way that I did do it though was
it's censored because it's
censored.
In the next issue.
Okay, there we go. I will stop there.
Okay, and now we're on to these weirdos.
These weirdos.
I feel a little bit rude calling them weirdos, but they are pretty.
They are unusual miniatures.
Yeah,
I'm really not quite sure what this chap's wearing on his face. It's
like
different.
It's some sort of metal all over face mask.
Yeah, I thought it was like some form of plastic.
PVC type leather thing.
Yeah, I really genuinely don't know what he's wearing.
Yeah, it's got some Pulp Fiction vibes.
It really does have some Pulp Fiction vibes, yeah.
The whole range from Gripping Beast is quite unusual in that way. There's some odd stuff in there, but very cool figures. So this originally was a cleric, and you've accentuated that with blue is good kind of vibes.
Yeah, we went for the cliche, blue is good, red is bad.
Yeah, so which one of these do you want to look at first?
Let's look at the cleric, the gimp mask wearing chappie.
Just putting it out there.
Yeah, why not? Let's just go for it.
Okay,
let's not pretend.
So the model, that's the standard model.
Yep.
The difference you've made here is this.
Manipulated the hand as well to make it so it was more upright.
Okay.
So that I gently did with a pair of pliers to make it as if it was much more in the sense of like a stopping kind of gesture.
Sure. And then you've created this force barrier effect.
Yeah, so it was, again, this was one of those where this is something I've never ever tried before, and it really was an experimentation for me to work on this. And it's simply a piece of plastic from a blister pack, which I positioned around a curved item and used a hairdryer to melt gently over it.
Right.
And it worked quite effectively. And I'm relatively pleased with how it appears. I wanted this individual to appear as if he was producing a natural, not technologically produced force shield in some capacity, and so hence why it's got an uneven edge and not an even spherical or hexagonal appearance, which some of the more, like you mentioned, Tau generated shield effects have.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because in the article, these ones, they do have magical powers, which are all defensive. The gameplay element of it is actually takes Frostgrave rules and mixes them in with the historical, well, the pseudo-historical scenario. So these use different defensive spells from Frostgrave.
Okay, interesting.
Because you'll often paint things, and I'll give you a vague outline of what it's
I get
for,
a brief of what it's used
and
for,
then
and then I don't
you
really
get the
know
magazine,
time.
and you're like,
and I go, oh, there we go.
So yeah, and you've painted it. It's quite simple. Again, you've used slightly different blues to what are on the figure to cast that different light, which is cool.
And it also meant that I could cast a bit of, again, light effect onto the actual miniature itself.
Yeah.
Which, especially on like the leather and on, it just gives something a bit more, something interesting for the eye to look at when you're perceiving that miniature.
Sure, and coming down onto the base, of course, as well.
So, and as you can see, so a bit of, more than a bit of light effect on the stone there, which again I sculpted using milliput, and then you've got a little on the actual base on the gravel, and then I did a touch on the actual static grass as well, which isn't as obvious as I kind of wished it was, but you play about with those kind of effects. You try it. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. In this instance, it's not as bold as I wished it was.
It doesn't hurt it though.
It doesn't hurt
fine,
it. Yeah, it's not a negative. It doesn't detract from it.
No, not at all. And then, so from this guy, we move to this mean and moody fella.
Yeah, who, when the two miniatures are together, they contrast quite nicely.
Yes.
With the warm and the cold. And this chap was a really intriguing miniature to work with. So originally he's holding a pistol hammer.
Yeah,
very
pistol
strange.
hammer.
I'm not familiar with this weapon. Was this weapon?
It was the original name for Warhammer, but
was
they
it?
decided to change
Pistol
it.
hammer. I wish I'd get this. So with this one, we removed obviously the weapon which he had initially. We utilised a windsock from a late Roman Wargames Atlantic set.
Yeah, that's quite their latest sort of.
It's one of their latest
set,
ones,
isn't
which
it?
I had a bit of a play with, and they're great miniatures, by the way, as well. So that's the kind of root, the structure around what the smoke effect then.
And you can just see the head of it there,
you can
can't
see
you?
the
To
head there.
almost add a bit of a magical beast being summoned.
Like a demon.
Yeah.
Is firing a demon from his palm.
Just spitting demons from his palm.
So
no wonder the Templars were put down.
Yeah, it's fair, isn't it, when you look at it that way? So the smoke effect itself was created using it's the green sponge, which is used on basing often.
Oh yeah.
So simply used quite a lot of super glue, glued it on, and just created a kind of cone effect, as if that was smoke emanating from behind it. It was really fun to do, actually. It was I've seen this effect done many times. It's not something I've ever done myself.
Sure.
And it was fun. It was different.
Do we need to put a PSA out about if you're putting super glue all over something that's going to bond really badly that you don't want to breathe in the fumes? Because
if you want to go for that,
we want to protect our dear
we want
viewers.
to protect everyone.
Yeah.
We're all about safeguarding here.
I'm sure you were very responsible when you did it. You wore a mask, you opened all the windows and ventilated.
I did.
Yeah,
good. I look after my lungs.
Yes.
Yep.
And is this a metallic paint job you've done on this guy?
So it was metallics.
Yeah. So this is different to Dante. Because Dante is non-metallic?
No, again, is metallic.
Oh, I just know nothing.
No. So when I'm painting metallics, I go for a hybrid approach.
Yes.
Instead of going for pure metallics, I tend to go with metallics, but I paint them in a non-metallic metal fashion.
I've done similar. So.
Yeah, and it produces a bit more, I use the phrase again, a bit more of a dynamic approach to the actual miniature.
It gives you more control, right? So
does,
you can actually dictate that the light's coming from here instead of where the light is hitting the miniature naturally. Yeah.
And my favourite kind of silver steel paint as well has a very fine pigment, which is a paint called thrash metal from Scale Colour, and that itself as well lends towards a more non-metallic metal approach.
Sure.
And it's also fantastic in an airbrush,
Okay.
which most metallic paints a terrible
Yeah,
airbrushes.
they clog them up.
They clog them up. I would, yeah, you need to be very careful if you ever get into airbrushing
Yes.
and use metallic paints on those.
Did you use any airbrush for any of these though? Were these zenithal? Or?
So these were all zenithals. I always zenithal highlighters. That gives you a really good idea as to where your highlights need to be, and it's just a really good foundation coat to work from.
Yeah.
But beyond that, the airbrushing was nominal on these ones.
Did you use zenithal from this angle on this figure rather than from above, or did you still do it from above and then add the extra source?
Because I generally see it as being this light effect. It's a secondary light effect.
Sure.
So you always have your top down as in the sunshine being from above, and then you have an additional light source, which creates that additional effect on the miniature as well and makes it more interesting.
Yep. And again, you've done the glow on the base a little bit.
A little bit of glow on the base.
It's quite nice how it comes on the sword and the face. When you look at it dead on, it's far more vivid. And then when they're together,
the nice contrast between them both.
It's really good.
Cool. Did you like them?
I do like them. I'll be putting them in my collection and keeping them.
Brilliant. I think Dan will probably break
Dan will
them
fight
as
me
well
for it. Yeah. Okay.
Excellent.
Well, thank you for showing us those, Mark.
That's all right. Anytime.
Hi, I'm Joe, the resident tech nerd here at Wargames Illustrated and the individual who's editing all these videos. If you like what you saw on this episode of Marc's Miniature Monday, make sure you leave a like and leave a comment down below on what we can improve and also what you enjoyed. We appreciate you watching, and if you want to see more of what Marc's been up to, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also ding that little bell next to it so you can see when all these videos go live instantly. Thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day.
This video has been brought to you by WI Prime, Wargames Illustrated magazine's online members club. View more videos or find out more about WI Prime by following these links.